Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Crochet for Baby. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet the slouchy style hat for adults. I'm also going to show you how to crochet the matching scarf. Now, to make this set, I used the Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday Bobbin in this rosy outlook color. I used exactly one bobbin, which is exactly 255 grams. Okay, so let's get started and thank you for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using this 5mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this medium number 4 yarn. I'm using Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday Bobbin. Now, I separated my colors here and I made my own cakes. So I'm going to start with this light color here, and then I'm going to move on to the other colors. I think I'm going to do the brim in this color and then the rest of the hat in the second lightest color, this one here. The color on this bobbin is, let's see, it's called Rosy Outlook. So there it is. Okay, so here to begin, I have 8 chains into the second chain from the hook. Make 1 single crochet into the next chain, and so on. For this first row, we're going to make 7 single crochets. Now, if you want to make your brim wider, then add more chains. I'm only going to do 8 here so that we have 7 single crochets. So this is all I'm going to do here. I find it difficult to work with the bobbin, so I decided to make my own cakes here. It's so much easier. Okay, so now we're going to turn, chain 1, and here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do single crochets, but we're only going to go through the back loop of this single crochet. So make a single crochet, that's 1, into the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochets, turn, chain 1, and then repeat the same thing. Insert your hook through the back loop and make a single crochet. Now this is all I'm going to do. I'm not exactly sure how many rows I'm going to do this for, but continue watching and you'll see how many rows I'm going to do. So I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I finished making my brim. I did a total of 72 rows. Now, without stretching, this here is measuring about 18 inches, which is about 46 centimeters. Once I stretch it, it's a very stretchy brim here. It's measuring about 54 centimeters, which is about 21.25 inches, which is the size that I need for adult women. Now, you can also just measure this around your head or anyone that you're making this for. Just make sure that this part here is in multiples of 3. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to join both ends here. So I'm going to insert my hook here on this end and then grab this loop. Bring it through the front, chain 1, and then again insert your hook into the same stitch, the first stitch, and through the first single crochet through the back, grab a loop and make a slip stitch. Insert your hook into the next stitch and through the second single crochet through the back and make a slip stitch. This is all I'm going to do, so continue and I'll meet you once this part here is done. Okay, I finished joining both ends and this is what it looks like. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work 1 half double crochet for each one of the rows that we have here. Now into the third row, we're going to make an increase. So let me show you. Here, we're going to chain 1. So beginning into this first row right here, we're going to work a half double crochet. So like this. A half double crochet into the next row and 2 half double crochets into this third row. 1 and 2. Now the same thing, repeat the same thing. So make 1 half double crochet into the next row, 1 half double crochet into the next, and into the third row make 2 half double crochets. Now this is all I'm going to do here for this part, so continue and I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished this row of half double crochets. I have a total of 96 half double crochets, and I have a total of 24 of these increases. Now this is why I mentioned that make sure to have the brim here be in multiples of 3. Now what I did here was just join to the side of the first chain, cut my yarn and pass my yarn through that last loop. I'm going to work with this second color. So insert your hook into this same stitch where we did the slip stitch, grab this loop, bring it through the front, chain 1. Now each one of the increases where we did the 2 half double crochets, we're going to treat these as V stitches. So beginning into this first increase, insert your hook like this through the first half double crochet and work a front post double crochet. Now inside the space between these 2 half double crochets right there, make 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets, and then a front post double crochet into the second half double crochet. This is what we're going to do for each one of the increases, so find your next one. Here it is. This is where we have the 2 half double crochets. So insert your hook like this through the first half double crochet and work a front post double crochet. Between the 2 half double crochets, work 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets, and then a front post double crochet. This is all we're going to do, so continue and I'll meet you at the end. At the end you're going to have 24 fans. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row to our pattern stitch. I have a total of 24 fans. Now to finish, we're going to go here to the side where we have this chain and we're going to join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished this first row. Now in the second row, what we're going to do is we're going to make V stitches inside each one of these fans. So here we're going to work a slip stitch into the next double crochet, slip stitch into the next, and a slip stitch inside the chain 2 space. Now here you're going to chain 4 and make a double crochet. This is the first V stitch to the second row. Now inside each one of the fans you're going to do a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. Each one of these V stitches is going to consist of a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. Continue like this and I'll meet you at the end of this row. I'm here at the end of this second row. This is where we did V stitches and I have a total of 24 V stitches. To finish, we're just going to go here to the side of the 4 chains and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished this second row. Now for the third row, what we're going to do is the row of fans. So chain 1, and right here to the side of these chains, you're going to make a front post double crochet. Inside this space, you're going to make 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets, and a front post double crochet. Again, work a front post double crochet into the next V stitch. Inside the chain 2 space, make 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets, and a front post double crochet. This is all you're going to do for this row, so continue like this and I'll meet you at the end of this third row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this third row. This is where we did these fans. Now from here on you're going to repeat these 2 rows, the row of V stitches and the row of fans. So to finish this row of fans, you're just going to join here to the side where we have the chain with a slip stitch. Now for every row that you do, whether it be the row of fans or the row of V stitches, you're always going to have 24. Now for the next row, you're going to repeat the row of V stitches. So to do this, you're going to go here to the side and make a slip stitch. That's 1, On top of the next double crochet, make another slip stitch, and inside the chain 2 space, another stitch. Now once you're inside this chain 2 space, you're going to chain 4 and make a double crochet. This is going to be the first V-stitch to this 4th row, and then you're going to jump to the next fan and do your next V-stitch. Remember that all of the V-stitches consist of a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. This is how you're going to continue for this 4th row. When you finish, you're going to join here to the side with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then repeat the row of fans that we just did here. These are the 2 rows, like I said, that you're going to repeat. I'm not exactly sure how many rows I'm going to do, but continue watching and I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I finished making the 5th row. Here I just joined to the side with a slip stitch, cut my yarn, and pass my yarn through this last loop. Now I just want to show you how I'm going to change color here. I'm going to use this 3rd color in this bobbin that I'm using. So here, this is the darkest color. In the next row, we need to do V-stitches. So instead of doing the three slip stitches, I'm just going to go directly inside this first fan. If you're not changing color, then don't do this part. You're just going to work the 3 slip stitches and continue in the same way you've been doing. So now here, just chain 4 and into this same space here, make a double crochet, and then continue in this row just making V-stitches like this. And that's all. I just wanted to show you how to change color if you want to do the same thing. Okay, so continue watching and I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I'm here at the end of the 7th row. My last row here, row 7, is this fan row. Now in the next row, the row of V-stitches, we're going to change that V-stitch. So we're going to chain 3 and into this same space here, make a double crochet. Now jump to the next fan and do 2 double crochets. We're not going to make any chains here for these V-stitches, so these 2 double crochets are still going to work as V-stitches like this. In the next row, row 9, you're going to work the row of fans. You're going to make your front post double crochet here, and inside or between these 2 fans, you're going to do this fan and then a front post double crochet. That's the only difference in these V-stitches. Everything else remains the same. So continue all around this row. Finish this 8th row, then begin your 9th row, which is where you do the fans, and I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I finished this 9th row. This is where we did these fans. Now here what I did was just cut my yarn and pass my yarn through this last loop when I joined here to the side of this first fan. Now I'm going to change color, that's why I cut my yarn. So for rows 10 and 11, row 10 is going to be the row of V-stitches, just like we did here in this 8th row. So insert your hook here inside this first fan. If you're not cutting your yarn or anything, just work these 3 slip stitches and do the same thing we did on row 8. Now chain 3 and make a double crochet inside this space. Now inside each one of the fans, you're going to do 2 double crochets. This is how you're going to continue for this 10th row. When you're done, you're going to join here to the side with a slip stitch, then repeat this row of fans. The exact same thing. Each one of these 2 double crochets we're going to treat as if they were V-stitches. Now continue like this, finish this 10th row, then start your 11th row where you do the fans, and I'll meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this 11th row. This is where I did fans. Now to finish, we're just going to go here to the side and make a slip stitch. Now in the next row, we're going to start closing the top of the hat. So here we're just going to make 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now chain 1 and into this space here, make a single crochet. Now inside each one of the fans, this is all you're going to do, 1 single crochet. Continue like this for this row, and I'll meet you at the end. At the end, you should have 24 single crochets. I'll meet you here at the end. I'm here at the end of this row of single crochets. I have 24 single crochets. To finish, go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now we're going to reduce in the next row again. So here we're going to chain 1 and into this first single crochet, make a single crochet. Now into the next 2, we're going to work a reduction. So insert your hook, grab a loop, insert your hook into the next, grab a loop, 3 loops in the hook, close. Again, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, into the next single crochet, grab a loop, 3 loops, close. This is how you're going to continue for this row, so I'll meet you here at the end. Okay, I'm here at the end of this row of reductions. Now to finish here at the end, I just finished with one last single crochet, so now I'm just going to go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now I'm going to pull this loop like this, and I'm going to tie it here, and with this yarn that I have that I left the long tail, I'm just going to pass this through my needle, and I'm going to weave it around the hole that was left like this. So we're just going to weave this through each one of these stitches all around. Okay, so here's my loop. Now pass this through the inside, and here just pull this yarn and close this hole there. And with this loop that we left, we're just going to tie this here. Perfect. Like this. Now once this is done, we're just going to weave our ends. Like, and this part here is done. Here you need to weave your ends as well. I'm going to do this next, but our slouchy slash beret hat is done, and that's what it looks like. I love this stitch. I love the way that my hat fits. I love it. This is what it looks like. Now I called it a beret hat earlier, but I think it's more like a slouchy hat. You can even make it more slouchier by adding more rows, but regardless, I think it's beautiful. I love the way that it turned out. I hope you like it too. Now here you can add a pom-pom. It's up to you, maybe a fur pom-pom. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I think I'll leave it like this for now, but I'm going to show you now how to make the matching scarf. Now I have all of this yarn left over from this one bobbin, so what I'm thinking is I'm going to make the bottom of the scarf with half of this lighter color and then finish with the remaining yarn, and then in between I'm going to use these two colors. So we'll see how that turns out. So with this color here, I have already started mine. I have 34 chains. The multiple to this base chain is multiples of 3 plus 1. Now I'm going to also use a bigger hook. I'm going to use this 6.5mm crochet hook to do this scarf. I want it nice and loose, so that's why I'm using a bigger hook. If you don't want to use a bigger hook and want to make the stitch be a little bit more tighter, then chain more chains here in that multiple that I just told you, and it should also come out okay. Now to begin, on the 4th chain from the hook, 1 2 3 4, we're going to make a double crochet. Now I'm going to go through the back of the chain like this. For every chain you see this little bump right there. That's where I'm going to insert my hook. So into the 4th chain, make a double crochet. Now the 3 chains here at the beginning counts as your first double crochet, so into the next chain make another double crochet. So we have 3 double crochets here, 1 2 3. Now we're going to skip 1 2, and into the 3rd chain I'm going to make a V-stitch. You're going to do a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. Now again, skip 1 2, and into the 3rd chain make another V-stitch. This is all I'm going to do up to the last 6 stitches. So continue, and I'll meet you right here, right before we finish, to show you right about here, to show you how we're going to finish this first row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row. I have 8 V-stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now I have 5 remaining stitches. I mentioned 6, but it's 5. 1 2 3 4 5. So now here at the end, what we're going to do is I'm going to skip 1 2, and into the 3rd chain here I'm going to make a double crochet into the next chain, and double crochet into the last chain. And here's the first row. We have 3 double crochets at the end, 3 double crochets at the beginning, and 8 V-stitches in between. Now for the second row, chain 3 and turn. These 3 chains counts as your first double crochet. Now in this row, we're going to work a front post double crochet into the second double crochet, front post double crochet into the third double crochet. Now for each one of these V-stitches, this is what you're going to do. The first double crochet, you're going to work a front post double crochet. Inside the chain 2 space, you're going to make 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets, and then a front post double crochet. And that's all we're going to do for each one of the V-stitches. So continue like this, and I'll meet you at the end of this second row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this second row. This is where we did these fans. Now, to finish here into this next double crochet, we're going to work a front post double crochet into the next one, front post double crochet, and into the third chain here on top, you're going to work a double crochet like this. This is all we're going to do here. Now for the third row, chain 3 and turn. The 3 chains here counts as your first double crochet. Now in this next row, we're going to work V-stitches inside each one of these fans. So here we're going to make sure to keep these 2 double crochets always with the same stitch, front post double crochets. So in this row, we're going to work back post double crochet. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook like this around the second double crochet, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, take 2 loops off. Again, yarn over and into the third double crochet, another back post double crochet. Now, if you have a hard time making these front post and back post double crochets, you can just make double crochets on top. It's going to look a little different here on the side, but it should still look just as nice. Now, inside each one of these fans, you're going to make a V-stitch. Each one of these V-stitches is going to consist of a double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. So continue like this, and I'll meet you here at the end to show you how we're going to finish this third row. I'm here at the end of this third row. I did my last V-stitch, so now here I have the next 3 double crochets. Into the first and the second, you're going to work a back post double crochet, and here at the end, you're going to pinch the third chain right here at the end and make a double crochet. And this is how I finished the third row, and that's what it looks like. Now for the fourth row, you're going to chain 3 and turn. From here on, these are the 2 rows that you're going to repeat. You're going to work the row of V-stitches and the row of fans. Now in this next row, row 4, we have to work the row of fans, but first remember that these next 2 double crochets, these 2 here, 1 and 2, you're going to work front post double crochets on each one like this. And then we have the first V-stitch, so work a front post double crochet, 2 double crochets, two chains, 2 double crochets, and then a front post double crochet. This is how you're going to work each one of the V-stitches, and here at the end you're going to work 2 front post double crochets and finish with a double crochet on top of the third chain, then chain 3, turn, and repeat the row of V-stitches, this row that we just finished. That's all we're going to do. You're going to repeat these 2 rows. Now, like I said, I'm going to do half of this yarn here for the bottom part, and I'm going to finish with the remaining half at the end. and then in between I'm going to use these two colors. So we'll see how long my scarf is. Now continue like this, and I'll meet you once our scarf is done to show you how we're going to finish it up. Okay, I finished my scarf. I love the way that this looks. I did a total of 63 rows. Now my last row here, I did the V-stitch row, but instead of doing 2 chains in between the double crochets, I only did 1, and that's how I finished my last row. Now it's measuring about 55 inches, which is about 140 centimeters, and to me, I think it's a bit short. I have a long torso, so I'd say that for me it's a bit too short. If you want to leave it as it is, it's fine, and if you have more yarn in the same color, you can certainly add more rows. I don't have any more. This is all I had left, which I am glad, because I'm not too happy with this yarn. I don't know why, but it kept on splitting on me, so I really didn't like that. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to join this like this. So I'm going to join both ends. And so this will become now like an infinity scarf, which is just going to go around my neck. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to join both ends like this. If you want to do the same, this is how I'm going to do it. So insert your hook into this stitch here, and then grab this loop, bring it through the front, chain 1, turn. And here I think I'm going to work a slip stitch. I tried a single crochet and it's too big, so I think I'm going to do slip stitches here. And I'm going to go into the next stitch here. We have 3 double crochets here at the end, so these stitches match up. Here's the third. And then we have my V-stitch, and we have this stitch here. So I'm going to work this part so that this here looks nice. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, so you just do it the way that you feel is going to look good, which is what I'm going to do. So this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to do these stitches nice and loose because I don't want this part to be too tight. So I'm going to continue until it's done, and then I'm going to come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, I finished joining both sides, and this is what it looks like. Now, make sure that when you join yours, you do it on the wrong side. I think I showed you that I did it on the right side, but I didn't like the way that it looked, so I turned it to where I joined on the wrong side. Make sure you do the same thing. I think it looks better. So this would be the wrong side, and this would be the right side, the nice side. And that's what it looks like. So my scarf is done, and that's what it looks like. I love this stitch. I love the texture. I love how it looks. It's so nice and loose. I love it. Now I have my set done. Stay tuned, because I think I'm going to do the same thing with this other bobbin that I have. I'm going to use a different stitch, and I'm also going to do a slouchy hat with a matching scarf. So stay tuned. Okay, so this has been today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.